Is it just this year, or will this class continue on next year?
I think it's going to continue because clearly we can't cover everything from the last 20 years. So now I got it started. Can you tell me about the origins, when it was painted, who painted it, and why?
Yes, yes, and yes, I can. 2004, May term, we had an SLC whose name was Aaron Peterman, and he, at that time, SLCs could also teach May term classes, and we also invited some people from outside the community to teach some of those classes when we had a better budget, because you got to pay those people. And Aaron did this art class, and that class was about painting that mural. So the kids, I'm guessing if we went all the way back to 2004, although I think the kids' names might be on it. I think if you look closely, it's signed. But we could go back and look in the archives of that class and give you all the names of those kids. And they painted it. There were 2 students that were responsible for kind of each section of it, but it had to blend together. So they spent the first 2 or 3 days coming up with their sketches and their ideas for what was going to be on the wall. And then, kaboom, you have the wall.
Wow, in 2 weeks?
Uh-huh.
That's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Very impressive kids.
How did people react to it when they saw it?
For the most part, people reacted very favorably because it really lightened up the building. It was kind of drab down there, and to have some color on the wall, and also to have our own kids' artwork on the wall was very exciting for folks, because those kids were in our community, because there were juniors and seniors both in that class. And it was fun watching it grow, because every day when we walked by, we'd see more progression of it. So yeah, there were only a few negative comments. Some folks that thought it was too busy, it didn't make much sense, it wasn't perfect, but for the most part, it was very favorable.
Like, I know when I first came in, I'm like, that looks really weird, but it's cool just to appreciate the thing as a whole, like all the separate parts and how it eventually just blends together, like you said.
Right. You may notice, and it all depends how you look at a picture, because different people notice different things. But the waves on the right-hand side, instead of them being level, they're not. I mean, I know waves go up and down, but at the sequence itself, it goes kind of crooked, so it doesn't look like the sea may. And there have been a few comments about how that was not level. But you know, the other part about that, 2004, and now it's 2012, it's been there for 8 years, right? Is that right? No, it's 4-ish. Yeah. So with the facelift that we kind of had gotten, you know, with the tile and then painting everything, and I think we're ready for a little bit of a different look. And whether you know it or not, the big paintings that are out in the other lounge, have you noticed the big paintings hanging on the wall? That was the second matron class that painted those paintings. So that was a 2005 matron class. Also, Aaron Peterman had the kids do that. So we need someone else to step up and give us some other kinds of art. I don't know if we'll ever paint a wall again, but I think we definitely would like to have some paintings that we could hang up of our kids. We have 2 that are out here right when you walk into my office that were painted by some kids in Aaron's class. So that's kind of the last time that we've had an artist that has really brought together a bunch of students. We did have, 3 years ago, I had some kids just volunteer time to paint where all of the students' group pictures are down by the water fountain and by the TV. Paint that wall and kind of make little frames for the frames. But that's about it. We do have that art show. You know, we had one last year.
Yeah, the art matron.
Exactly. Where different people bring in different kinds of things. But it makes a difference when you have an artist that is on staff. We had Aaron, and then about 5 years ago, we had another SLC that was an artist, and she had also been an academy student. And she contributed some things and also taught a May term class, but they didn't produce anything to hang on our walls. So there you go. Kind of a history.
That's cool. I would really love to do a midterm like that, where we could just like have this huge painting going on.
Well,
Problem is getting someone to teach it.
Well, you're right, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Just a heads up in case you want to know. Barb Spike, whom you probably don't know, but she's the support staff for the executive directors. Her office is over in the house. Was an art major. She's an incredible artist. And last year, she taught an art class where kids just learned different forms of art and ended up with some pictures that they painted. And I think if there were a group of kids that, let's say, wanted to get a huge piece of canvas and paint something that you wanted to donate to the school, I'm guessing that someone like Barb Spike would be more than glad to sponsor that. On the other side of that, I think you might be able to find an SLC that would be willing to sponsor some kids. Let's say you were artsy. Are you artsy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we have maybe 4 or 5 or 6 other kids that are artsy, had something that they wanted to paint to leave behind, that you could get a huge piece of canvas, or we could order a huge piece of canvas. You could have a design, and then every once in a while an SLC could go down and we could maybe put that in the commons and you could go down and paint on that. So if you want to do something like that, it's certainly a possibility. And I love it. I love it when kids come up with different things and leave it behind. This, let me show you. I'm quite a bit of this stuff. All of this stuff is from kids. And I have some other stuff that I haven't gotten framed yet. But Barb Spike has on her wall all the time. But out here on my wall, this was from a kid in one of the art classes. And she drew this and then sent it to me. But it's such a crazy design. And then and he just did that as an SLC so I think it's very cool for kids to leave legacies behind. And I'm guessing you probably feel that way about the wall.
Yeah. Kind of part of our legacy.
Yes.
It's strange to imagine a new group of students coming in here not knowing what that looks like.
Well, I guess we'll have to take some pictures and definitely put it in our handbook or our slideshow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting that you feel that strongly about it. I didn't think I would get much of a response from saying we're just going to paint over the mural. And you're actually the first person that said anything to me about, well, it's kind of sad, or that's going to be gone. You think there are other kids that feel the same way?
Probably. I've also heard, my roommate says that it looks weird and kind of creeps her out. But, as an artist, I appreciate that kind of thing.
Right.
So.
Well, artists, have a tendency to look at things very differently and express themselves in ways that other people don't quite get, or they do think it creeps them out. But that is one of the aspects of that. Is that wall is one of the first things that people see when they come into our building. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to evaluate whether or not that is the first impression we want them to have. And
right.
if we could get something that was maybe more uplifting, more inspiring to put on that wall, but yet be able to remove it and change it out, that would be great.
All right. So when you paint it over, what's it going to look like?
It'll look like a wall.
What color?
It'll be the same color as the paint that's in the foyer where they put the new tile.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of a off-white, beigey. And you probably don't notice this on a daily basis. Maybe you will. But the lounges are kind of a gray color. And when they painted the foyer area, they made it a beigey color. So we're going to try to get it to look all the same. So we're hoping to paint both of the lounges the same beigey off-white color instead of gray. That's the plan. Because what they're trying to do, if you look at the colors on the card, maybe you haven't noticed this, but if you look out here in the foyer, the blue that they painted underneath is this blue.
Oh, it is.
The off color is this color. And then the new mats that they've ordered should be this color.
Nice.
Ta-da! There you go. You can have that.
Awesome.
So that's the color scheme
Color
we're trying to go with.
coordination.
I would love to have somebody be able to paint a huge academy, whatever we call it, the apple, on that wall. That would be kind of cool, I think, but it would have to be pretty perfect. And we've also, though, looked at the possibility of changing our logo to maybe a more modern apple peel. Something like, let's see, where is it? It's, tell me what you think. What do you think of the apple peel looking like in that?
It looks pretty similar, like more simple, I guess, but I don't know. All the same, it confuses me because I'm like, where did this even come from?
You don't know the answer to this?
I don't. Mr. Watson won't tell us.
He wouldn't. Maybe he
wants
knows, I
you
think.
to ask.
But I'll tell you. Let me tell you what it is. Let me see if I can demonstrate it for you. Let's pretend that this is the globe. Can you imagine that? Take off the handle and that's the globe. And just not going to have a lot to demonstrate with. But you can imagine. Here we go. Let's say wrapped around this world is the never-ending ribbon of learning. Great. And as it comes around, this ribbon going around the world, now there's not even going to be a place that crosses, but you can imagine, if this ribbon is wrapped around the world, and it's going around, and it's going around, and it's going around, and you took just a face shot of it, that apple peel is what it would look like.
Get it. All right.
So it's supposed to represent the never-ending ribbon of learning around the world. There you go. When you walk out my door, there's a picture beside that other picture that I showed you that has the different transformations of our logo, of what it went through. You probably would want to copy that and maybe take it to your class, because it probably is something that we want to have in the history of how we ended up with that logo.
All
John
right.
Deere logo.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
And now it makes sense, actually.
Good.
So I was always like, why do we have this? It's kind of an apple, and it's, I don't, yeah.
So now you can tell everybody. It's the never-ending ribbon
Of learning.
of learning.
It's good to know. Thank you.
What else can I answer for you?
You pretty much covered all my questions. If you have anything else to say.
Okay. Well, come out here. Let's see if you want. Maybe you can take a picture of it if you have a cell phone or a camera.
Not on me, but.
Okay, you can see where I don't know if it might be up there.
So, and that way,
I'll show you the different ideas.
no problem. Of course, then what you'll have to do then at the end of the semester, you'll return both of those.
So that might be helpful.
On that, so, okay, all right, thank you.
And if you have any other questions, now that you've been in my office and you know it's not scary,
Not a dungeon.
that's right, we're not a dungeon, come and ask.
All right. Thank you so much.